All right, let's get started. Now, I'm glad you're here, and I want you to understand something right away. Leadership is not something people stumble into by accident. Leadership is something you decide to pursue deliberately. Most people think leadership is about position, about authority, about being in charge. But leadership is much older than titles. Leadership is about influence. And influence grows from fundamentals. Just like success has fundamentals. Just like health has fundamentals. Leadership has fundamentals too. And if you miss them, no amount of ambition will save you. So today I want to walk you through the fundamentals of becoming a leader. Not theory, not hype, but principles that work. The first responsibility of leadership is self-leadership. Before people ever follow your instructions, they study your behavior. They watch how you manage time. They watch how you handle pressure. They watch whether emotions control you or you control them. Years ago, I worked for a man who ran a small business. Nothing impressive on the surface. No applause, no spotlight. But every morning he arrived early. Every evening he stayed until the work was done. He kept his promises, and he never complained. One day I asked him, "Why do you work so hard when you already own the company?" He smiled and said, "Because someone is always watching." That lesson stayed with me. Leadership is not announced, it is demonstrated. If you want to lead others someday, start by leading yourself today. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Undisciplined people hope. Disciplined people build. Leadership does not come from motivation. Motivation fades. Leadership comes from habits. Reading when others are distracted. Learning when others are resting. Preparing when others are reacting. I once met a young man who wanted a promotion. He said, "I have talent, but no one notices me." So I asked, "Are you doing more than you're paid for?" He hesitated. Leadership begins the moment you decide to bring more value than expected. Before recognition, before reward, leaders accept responsibility willingly. The moment you blame someone else, you give away your power. I have watched capable people lose influence, not because they failed, but because every failure had an excuse attached to it. And I have watched average people rise because they said, "The responsibility stops with me." That sentence alone can change your future. Leadership grows the moment you stop making excuses. Leadership reveals itself most clearly under pressure. One of the greatest examples of this came during the Cuban Missile Crisis. President John F. Kennedy faced a moment where one wrong decision could have ended civilization. Missiles were positioned near American shores. Advisors demanded immediate action. Fear filled the room. But Kennedy did something rare. He slowed the process. He listened. He resisted ego. Instead of reacting, he responded. That calm decision prevented nuclear war. Leadership is not loud. Leadership is steady. Anyone can lead when things are easy. Leaders emerge when fear enters the room. Here's a principle I learned the hard way. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Leaders grow into responsibility. They don't wait to be ready. Reading, thinking, reflecting, refining character. As you grow, your influence grows. And influence is leadership. Leadership is the ability to transfer belief. You don't need fancy words. You need clarity. A leader speaks to be understood, not to impress. People don't follow ideas. They follow conviction. And conviction comes from preparation. You are always teaching, even when you are silent. If you want disciplined people, be disciplined. If you want honest people, be honest. If you want committed people, be committed. Your example speaks before your words ever do. The greatest leaders serve first. Leadership is not about being above people. It is about being useful to people. Ask, how can I help? How can I add value? Service builds trust, and trust builds leadership. Leadership is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Responsibility is uncomfortable, but regret lasts longer. Leaders do what is hard now, so life can be easier later. Leadership is not reserved for the gifted. It belongs to anyone willing to grow. Decide to work on yourself. Decide to accept responsibility. Decide to serve. Decide to improve. And one day, quietly, people will look to you, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. That is the fundamentals of becoming a leader.
If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. Now, money's not the only place to start. Money certainly isn't the only value, but we've all got to start somewhere, and money's something you can count, right? Kids are interested in money.